Hey everybody, today is Thursday, May the 10th, and you are watching FCN Prime News. I am your anchor, Trezene, who is editor of all things news, business, and politics here at the Fifth Column Network. I've got quite a few stories for y'all on this Thursday. I can pretty much wrap them all up into one summary. It's white people doing the absolute most while black people are doing the absolute least, including dining while black, including napping while black, and delivering food while black. As always, we are live on Periscope as well as Facebook. If you haven't already, make sure you are following, liking, and subscribing to all of our channels. We are on YouTube and Facebook at / the Fifth Column Network. We are also on Twitter and Periscope and Instagram at FCN_1, where you can watch us live there as well. And if you have never been to our website, thefifthcolumnnetwork.com. It looks pretty much like Netflix. All of our episodes are there, available for watching on demand. You can binge watch them by channel, you can binge watch them by show. All of our stuff is there, so make sure you go there as well to visit our website. All right, let's go ahead and get into this news for today. First up, a Muslim DoorDash driver was forced to fight a customer who grabbed her by her Muslim headscarf and then tried to choke her. On May 5th, Sonia King delivered an order through DoorDash to a man named Rick Painter at his Atlanta home. King followed her request to put the order on the table. She then asked her if she wanted a tip. After she told him that the tip was included in the price, she turned around to leave. And that is when police say Painter yanked on her hijab and tried to put his hands around her neck. King fought back. She used her car keys, a nail file, and all the strength she had in her 4'11" frame to stab him all over. She was able to pull his fingers off of her and able to force her finger into his eye socket. Check out this mugshot. He is covered in cuts, stab wounds, and bruises all over his face and neck as a result. And what is most sickening, King said, is that as she was stabbing him in the face, he kept saying, "It felt good." Painter was arrested and charged with misdemeanor battery. King and the local council on Islamic relations, who is representing King, is calling for his charges to be upgraded to include a hate crime because apparently when Painter was going toward his wallet, he said to King, "Oh, by the way, I'm Jesus." And after that is when King felt herself being dragged backwards by her hijab. But even while she was fighting for survival, King said she chose mercy for her attacker, saying she had about 3 opportunities to kill him dead. Instead, she said she chose her faith and God's heavenly reward over being judged for the murder. King and the Council for Islamic Relations are asking for charges of false imprisonment, maybe kidnapping, and given that he tried to strangle her, arguably attempted murder. Painter is currently in jail on a $5,000 bond, which means he could walk free on paying $500. After she was attacked by the violent customer, she had to rush to the hospital to take antiretroviral drugs. After learning that the attacker was also HIV positive, his blood got into one of her cuts during the struggle. 3 people are accused of slaying a 23-year-old pregnant woman. Before she was killed, pregnant 23-year-old Shalea Toombs sent what her mother saw as a disturbing text message. The text, according to news, read, "They're gonna kill me, Mom, help me." 3 days later, Toombs, at 7 months pregnant, was found dead in a parked pickup truck along an interstate outside of Oklahoma City, the state's Bureau of Investigation said in a statement. 3 suspects have been arrested in connection to her death. Daniel Vasquez of Oklahoma City is accused of being an accessory after the fact. Joshua Finkbeiner and Stacy Harho were located in Arkansas and were arrested on suspicion of murder. They are both waiting extradition to Oklahoma. The truck where her body was found did indeed belong to Vasquez, who had reportedly approached a police officer inside a convenience store and said that he had run out of gas and that there was a body inside of his truck. Here's the disturbing but very suspicious story of what happened. Vasquez went to Toombs' apartment around 1 a.m. on April the 29th. Finkbeiner and Harho later arrived looking for a backpack that Toombs allegedly stole. Vasquez told Toombs he had borrowed Harho's vehicle, which had a backpack containing a hard drive, and that hard drive belonged to Finkbeiner's employer. Vasquez said that that's when he and Toombs were ordered at gunpoint to get inside the truck. and the four drove to a farm somewhere in Cleveland County, Oklahoma, and then drove around some more. Finkbeiner allegedly choked Toombs to death, and Vasquez said he was told to finish her off. He told authorities she appeared to be dead before he started choking her. Finkbeiner and Harjo allegedly left the truck with Vasquez, gave him some cash, and told him to drive away. Lots of missing parts to this story. Nevertheless, Toombs' mother, Twyla Taylor, said that she reported her daughter missing on the night of April 29th after trying unsuccessfully to reach her by phone and on social media. Taylor said she last heard from her daughter early of the morning of April 29th when her daughter sent that text message for help saying, "I think they're going to kill me, Mom," just before 5 a.m. on the day she was murdered. Toombs already had 2 young children at the time she was pregnant. Should more details surrounding this murder surface, this story will most certainly be updated. In other news, a restaurant has been fined $10,000 for asking a Black customer to prepay before ordering their meal. In Ontario, Canada, the Ontario Human Rights Tribunal has slapped the owners of a Chinese restaurant with a $10,000 fine after confirming they discriminated against Emil Wickham and his friends, whom all are Black men, requiring them to pay up front for their meals. In a decision released, adjudicator E.C. Kojo ruled Hong Xing Chinese restaurant violated the civil rights of Emil Wickham and his friends after its server presumed him to be a potential thief in waiting despite any evidence to that effect. In May of 2014, Wickham and his friends went to the restaurant to celebrate his 28th birthday after classes were over. But before they could order, a server told them to pay in advance, saying it was a policy applied to all. After paying, their group was also asked to be taken a picture as an exhibit. Wickham, now 31 years old, has testified in the tribunal case, saying that when he was asked, at least 3 other patrons at that time about the prepayment policy, they all said they were not asked to do the same. Upon knowing that they were the only ones asked to pay in advance, they confronted the server to explain why they had to pay and no one else had been expected to do so, the decision says. But instead of explaining, the server simply offered them a refund. The restaurant, whose representatives did not attend the tribunal case, claimed that they did not intend to discriminate against Wickham and his friends, and that it was a years-long policy that the staff would ask for prepayment if the patron was not a known regular customer. Judge Kojo, in her decision, however, said that there was no evidence that that policy ever existed. She said, and I quote, "Wickham's mere presence as a Black man in a restaurant was presumed to be sufficient evidence of his presumed propensity to engage in criminal behavior." She said, "At its core, racial profiling is a form of shorthand that enables the perpetrator of the behavior to assume certain facts and yet ignore others." Aside from the compensation, Kojo also ordered Hing Xing restaurant to display an Ontario Human Rights Commission code card in a prominent place in their restaurant as a visual reminder to everyone in its facility to never do this again. While Wickham's case seems to be a success, it is just one of the many stories of Black people who can't publicly dine in peace, urging for #DiningWhileBlack, wherein many Black people share their own experiences on social media while eating out. A most recent one reported by Sean King on Twitter today, that is Anthony Wall in prom clothes, pictured here, being lifted off the ground and choked by a county police officer at a Waffle House. He had just taken his little sister to prom, and yet again, Waffle House called the cops because of the presence of a Black man, and Anthony, of course, was unarmed and nonviolent. Check out this video clip of the encounter.
You don't slam me on the fucking window.
He's not supposed to be doing
Hands
that.
off of me.
But I'm recording this. He's not supposed to be doing that. He's not supposed to be doing that.
Get your hands off me. Get your hands off me. Get your supervisor out here and get your
He's
hands
not
off me.
supposed to be doing that.
Get your supervisor out here and get your hands off me.
He's not supposed to be putting his hands on me.
This is most certainly assault. To give you an idea of the sheer size of the officer, Frank Moss, He's pictured here. He's on the far right of this photo. He is a big man. Twitter user Ryan Edmond had this to say about the situation. He said, "I'm going to keep saying it. It is a crime to call the police for no reason. Police departments are not only hurting people, they're flushing taxpayer dollars down the toilet on wasted resources and lawsuits. Police departments need to start charging people who call them for things like this." He then followed up in a second tweet, further clarifying that yes, cops still have to do their jobs, and that job is to assess and investigate, not assault and intimidate. But the stories keep on coming. Today, a story of a Black Yale law student who was sleeping while Black made its rounds on social media as the perpetrator was finally identified. Today, on Monday, a Black graduate student at Yale was interrogated by police for 15 minutes after a white grad student reported her for napping in a common room. As the Yale Daily News reports, Lolade Simagnola says she was napping in a common room in the Hall of Graduate Studies when she was confronted by the white grad student who told her emphatically that she could not sleep there. The white Yale student then called campus police. Her name is Sarah Braish. Sinyambola captured a brief video showing the tail end of her interaction with the white grad student. Take a look at it right here.
I have every right to call the police. You cannot sleep in that room.
Continue. Get my good side. This is my good side. I'm gonna start another video when the cops get here. Hopefully they do come.
Oh, the audacity of Caucasians. There is definitely a second video that is going around as well, because after the police got there, she definitely captured her encounter with police. That second video, this time of her interaction with more than 3 cops, 2 of whom may have been of color, it shows her opening the door to her own dorm room to prove to campus police that she lives in the building. Still, the police continue to request her school identification card, which she did refuse multiple times because her name was entered into the student database incorrectly. It took more than 15 minutes to verify that she was indeed a Yale student. The videos went viral on Yale's campus, prompting the dean of the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences to send an email to all postgraduate students this past Tuesday night, stressing Yale's inclusivity and opening up lines of dialogue with students. Here is the extra layer of WTF. This is not the first time that it has happened to this student with this same girl, Sarah Braish. In a complaint submitted to campus administrators in March, Sinyambola and another student, they were confronted by this same white woman. According to the complaint, the other gentleman named Renison got lost in a building and was physically blocked by Braish from entering into the common room after he asked her for directions. When Renison told Braish that he was a Yale student trying to meet up with his study group, she accused him of being an intruder, telling him that he did not belong there and was making her, and I quote, uncomfortable. Braish eventually left the area and Renison met up with this group, only to have 4 campus police officers show up because someone had reported a suspicious character on their floor. According to the complaint, once Renison established that he was a Yale student, the police did leave. Here is another layer of mind trickery. Braish is a philosophy PhD candidate who has studied gender in the law, according to Yale's website, and has expressed civil rights and human rights interest in her LinkedIn profile. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Following the most recent incident of her calling cops on this student, Yale sent another email to graduate students calling the events of the week deeply troubling. In the statement, the university's secretary and vice president for student life emphasized that the Yale police did admonish Sarah Braish for calling the police and told her that the other student had a right to be present. She wrote that she and other campus administrators plan to hold listening sessions with students in the near future to avoid something similar from ever happening again. Since we are on the topic of white folks always playing neighborhood patrolmen, I should probably mention that murderer George Zimmerman is back in the news with publication of his latest text message to his latest alleged victim, where he said, "I know how to handle people who F with me. I have since February of 2012, which is the month he killed Trayvon Martin." George Zimmerman is being charged with aggravated stalking for allegedly sending harassing and threatening messages to a private investigator. Zimmerman called the victim 55 times, left 36 voicemails, sent 67 text messages and 27 emails in a 9-day span, including threatening to feed the private investigator to an alligator, according to an arrest report. Zimmerman first came in contact with the private investigator, Dennis Warren, in September, when Warren was hired by a production company that was creating a documentary on Trayvon Martin's life, according to an affidavit. Warren left a voicemail for Zimmerman on September the 21st, explaining that a producer would like to speak to him about being included in the Trayvon documentary. The report said that that was the only attempt Warren made to contact Zimmerman. A producer for the documentary contacted Warren on December 13th, saying that Zimmerman had been making threats against the producer and against Warren because they tried to solicit Zimmerman's family members to be involved in the film, according to authorities. He's scheduled to appear in court, Zimmerman is, on a stalking charge on May the 30th. The documentary, called Rest in Power, The Trayvon Martin Story, is a 6-part docuseries about Trayvon Martin and the impact his death had. It is set to debut this summer. Musician Jay-Z is an executive producer on that project. All right, enough of that. Time for some positivity and some laughs. There are a folk out there and contributions that the community should definitely know about. And I want you to meet the woman behind a nonprofit academy that has helped countless Black children get paid appearances on Nickelodeon, ESPN, and Netflix. Tyra Hawthorne is the owner of Heartbeat Music and Performing Arts Academy, located in San Diego, California. Her academy provides a college prep and professional-based curriculum, and regardless of age, to prepare students for top college scholarships as well as professional industry opportunities. This institution accepts students as young as 4 years old. Heartbeat Music and Performing Arts seniors have earned over $30,000 in music scholarships to the top historically Black colleges and universities and conservatory music schools, and are currently featured on Nickelodeon, ESPN, BuzzFeed, Netflix, and Warner Brothers. They have danced and trained with industry professionals such as Debbie Allen, Shane Sparks, John Silver, Jabari Odom, and Alvin Ailey. Ms. Hawthorne has recently had the opportunity to expand Heartbeat Music and Performing Arts Academy to the East Coast in Atlanta, Georgia. She will travel for her first major meeting with potential board members, donors, and volunteers this month. To learn more or to inquire about enrollment, please visit them online at hbmpaa.com. All right, in other news, after nearly 40 years of being known as New Edition, the group says that they want to now be known as RBRM. If you can guess it, it stands for Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike, and they are preparing to go on tour again. And as the name of the group basically means that if you buy tickets, ain't gonna be no Johnny, ain't gonna be no Ralph. I wonder what this is gonna do to the set list, because basically this is a tour that is Belle Biv DeVoe featuring Bobby Brown. I don't know about y'all, but I'd pay to watch this tour live stream on YouTube if for nothing but to see Bobby be Bobby. All right, in my final story for tonight, a grandmother has been arrested for slapping her granddaughter with a house shoe. Hattie Reynolds, a 95-year-old grandmother in Florida, was arrested on Saturday after police say that she slapped her granddaughter in the face with her slipper before calling 911 to get her out her house. Plot twist, the granddaughter is 46 years old. When officers arrived at the home, Janine Williams told police she did not want to press charges against her grandmother, but because of strict domestic violence laws, Reynolds was arrested. According to a Florida statute, police officers have the ability to determine if an arrest is needed in a domestic violence instance once probable cause is established. Police Chief Greg Capri told local news that he feels bad for her, but the officers did their job as required by the law. Reynolds was booked in the county jail and released the next day on her own recognizance. If you're wondering why the granddaughter got slapped with the house shoe in the first place, Hattie Reynolds told police her granddaughter would not get out of bed and she was tired of her being in bed all day, soaking up all the air conditioning. This is the blackest thing I've seen on social media in a minute. I believe it highlights an old Black American proverb that you ain't never too old for a butt whooping. All right, that's all the stories I have today. Again, if you are new to Prime News, make sure you are following us, liking us, and subscribing to all of our social media platforms. On social media, we are on Facebook, as well as YouTube on / The Fifth Column Network. We are on Twitter, Periscope, and Instagram at FCN_1. At least that is where the home of the Prime News and the Sunday Edition are. So definitely make sure you do that. And also, please be sure to visit our website. We aren't just out here putting videos on social media. We do have a home. It's thefifthcolumnnetwork.com. You can watch all of our shows. We've got like 12 or 14 of them. You can watch them all. You can binge watch them. You can watch them by channel, FCN1 through FCN5, or you can watch them by show, and you certainly can binge watch them. So make sure you guys visit our website. Do we have any comments today? Let me take, oh my goodness. Revolution Baxter, make sure to mention Sean King is Talcum X. He is affectionately known as such on Twitter by a certain following. And Desmond Alvey says that Ralph has had the most random career decisions in life. I agree with you, Desmond, especially if you've seen the BET docuseries, if you will, about New Edition. He certainly has, and it seems that he's gotten the boot for this next tour. If you haven't already found me on social media, I am there at Trezanay, that's TREZANAY, on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube as well. Make sure you like and subscribe and follow to me as well, as I'm always on Twitter, talking ish or stirring up a little trouble. With that, that is all I have for Prime News on today. After this will be True Baller Thursday with Jay Cowizit and the Reggie Mathis, so make sure you stay tuned for that, because I believe the playoffs begin today, yes? The official playoffs? No? You have no idea? Okay, they're getting ready. They're still cutting clips. All right, with that, that's all I have. Love you guys. Have a great weekend, and I will see you next time.